What's up? Undertaker26 here, and this is going to be my entry into Gjmix617's Fantasy WrestleMania Challenge. If you're looking for this to be my PWG99 review, the order still isn't here. But this is a Fantasy WrestleMania Challenge, and the rules for this challenge are you have to have a total of 10 matches, no more, no less. You have to have a Money in the Bank ladder match with 8 participants. You can't have a match that has taken place at a previous WrestleMania. And you have to have a wrestler that's worked for WWE, WWF, or TNA. So here's my entry. I start off the card with a Money in the Bank ladder match, and this match is also going to be for the Cruiserweight Championship, so it's kind of a double-edged sword, so it's something new to take on the Money in the Bank ladder match. Rey Mysterio versus Bourne versus Billy Kidman versus Paul London versus Brian Kendrick versus Gregory Helms versus Ultimo Dragon versus Nunzio. I'd have this basically be just a spot fest and a good way to start off WrestleMania, kind of like WrestleMania 21's or 24's was, basically just a spot fest with kind of a lot of ladder psychology. And you got to, since this is for a championship, you got to have somebody go over that can hold the championship well and maybe take series as a main eventer, which I think knocks out everybody but Rey Mysterio and Bourne, in my opinion. And Rey Mysterio's already had his shot at the World Championship, even though I think he should get it again. I think this is Bourne's time, and I'd put Bourne over in this match, have him booked to win, and hold both the Cruiserweight Championship and the Money in the Bank briefcase. Next, we got to a match I think is kind of interesting: Brock Lesnar versus The Rock. This match wasn't the main event of SummerSlam 2002, but I think since The Rock hasn't had a match in the WWE, both these men actually had their last matches in the WWE at the same card, WrestleMania 20. Kind of Brock Lesnar's gone to MMA and is the UFC heavyweight champion, and kind of went in his way. And The Rock would say, "Without me putting you over at SummerSlam 2002, you wouldn't have any of that." And the Brock basically calls that bullshit and says The Rock went into movies because he couldn't do it WWE anymore and he's gone soft. Basically, just have this be an all-out brutal brawl and have it go all over the arena, kind of a la WrestleMania 17, Triple H and Undertaker. I would have Brock Lesnar go over here, kind of cement him as a force, both in mixed martial arts and still if he wanted to be in professional wrestling. Next, we have a 8-man tag team match, WWE versus TNA. Representing WWE, we have D'Lo Brown, Ted DiBiase, Cody Rhodes, and Christian versus Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Hernandez, and Homicide. Now, D'Lo Brown and Christian both previously had worked for TNA, and they had both came back to WWE since their first stints. And I'd have them, since Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase are maybe unhappy with, book it like, so Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase are unhappy with WWE management and maybe jumping to TNA, but the Voices of Reason, D'Lo Brown and Christian kind of convince them not, but the Motor City Machine Guns and the LAX are kind of trying to push them to go to TNA. And kind of have this be kind of maybe like an X Division style match, have D'Lo Brown be a good brawler, kind of take Hernandez on, have Homicide and I think Christian and Homicide could absolutely just fly together. I think that would be a great pairing. And have it kind of come down to Legacy versus the Motor City Machine Guns. And I would have the WWE team go over here and basically have the finish coming where Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin are on a roll doing a lot of double teams, and Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase just stop him out of nowhere. Ted DiBiase gets his finish and gets the pin on Chris Sabin. Next we got, I think there needs to be some sort of, the next match we have is, I kind of just said that, but I think we need to have maybe a pure wrestling match on here, so I booked it as Kurt Angle versus Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog. These are 3 great pure wrestlers, and they all represent a WWE, the 3 biggest WWE markets. Kurt Angle from the US, Bret Hart from Canada, and British Bulldog, of course, from Great Britain, or the UK. And I was having a hard time deciding who was going to go over in this match. I decided it was going to be Bret Hart for the sole reason that I think that his last WWE match was on really bad terms. I'd like to kind of cancel that because he is a very important wrestler in WWE history. So kind of have him have this WrestleMania moment and kind of cancel out Survivor Series 99 or 97. So there's that. Next we got the Women's Championship match between Trish Stratus, Gail, Melina, and Lita. I've set up as the most over women's wrestler but with the males of all time, Trish Stratus. The most over female with the females in WWE history, and Lita of all time. The most current one with the males in Melina. That's the one. That's who I think it is. And with the females, it's Gail Kim. Or maybe the other way around, but I see those two as filling this void the greatest. And I basically have this be real women's wrestling, and just go out there and show what they can do. And I would kind of have Melina and Trish kind of take themselves out of the equation somehow, like maybe eliminate each other. This isn't an elimination match, but I kind of have them take themselves out in some way, and have Lita go over Gail Kim, and Lita just celebrate in the ring. Lita, of course, winning that match. Then we have kind of, when I thought of this match, I was kind of in shock that I thought it was something so great. You have the team of Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles taking on the Hardy Boys. Of course, these are four of the most athletic wrestlers that you will see. I kind of have a WWE legend teaming up with maybe the TNA legend right now in AJ Styles. And you gotta have them be strange bed partners and just kind of working that kind of niche and have kind of an awkward chemistry with each other, and go on to defeat the Hardy Boys. Of course, I would have Shawn Michaels hit swing chin music on Matt Hardy and pin him. So overall, just have a great all-out athleticism match for Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles versus the Hardy Boys. Now this match comes from my Ring of Honor niche. This is going to be, I believe this is another classic match, but for the first time outside of Ring of Honor, and it's going to be at WrestleMania. CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. All three of their matches that they've had in Ring of Honor were at least 4 3/4 stars, which is by far amazing. And the first one and the second one both went to 60-minute time limit draws, and then the third one, Joe won in 35 minutes. I would have CM Punk over here and have this match go about, say about 30 minutes maybe, and just have Punk maybe do bases all of his offense off the headlock, and Samoa Joe just kind of getting frustrated with Punk, and then frustrated gets too much of him, and then Punk gets to go to sleep, or Punk go to sleep and then locks in the Anticon device, a la Ring of Honor, and blacks out Samoa Joe. Then we have a kind of an interesting match, which is going to be set up this way. Randy Orton comes out and says, "I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. I'm the Legend Killer. I'm the Viper." And Sting is kind of the legend who is a voice of reason from the main event Mafia days, saying, "That wasn't right. We need to put the younger talent over. And young guys like Randy Orton, I hate you, and you guys shouldn't be in the business." Bringing out Triple H, saying something along the lines, saying to Orton, I taught you exactly what you just said in Evolution. You only have one career. You do whatever the hell you want with it." Which brings out Edge and says, Sting is exactly right. I'm a younger guy, or a guy that still needs to be, isn't cemented as a legend yet in this sport, and people like Sting, there needs to be more people like Sting and less of Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner. Which sets up the respect match of the heels in this match are Randy Orton and Triple H, and Sting and Edge. Basically just have this be a brutal match, and have Sting and Edge go over, have Sting pin Triple H. Next we got the Streak versus the World Heavyweight Championship. Chris Jericho as the World Heavyweight Champion taking on the Undertaker. Of course I have Undertaker going over here, continuing the streak, but I was trying to think of a good opponent for Undertaker, because it's not a WrestleMania in my opinion without an Undertaker match, and having him in a good quality opponent. And I try to think of a great opponent for him. And my opinion, if you saw my Mark Pearson video, I think the best wrestler in the world is Chris Jericho, and he's never faced him at WrestleMania. So I have them face off, have a classic match, and Undertaker go over. Finally, we have the Best of Eras match for the WWE Championship, which is an elimination match as the main event. Hulk Hogan versus Stone Cold Steve Austin versus John Cena versus John Morrison. Hulk Hogan is going to be representing the 80s, Stone Cold representing the 90s, John Cena representing now, Morrison representing the future. I have John Cena eliminating Hulk Hogan, John Morrison eliminating John Cena, and Stone Cold eliminating John Morrison. So Stone Cold holds up the championship and wins at the end of WrestleMania. Overall, I think I did a pretty good job with it. Hopefully I get some good feedback. Later.